Feeling overwhelmed about the Praxis Art 5134 Content Knowledge Exam? You're not alone, and you're in the right place. I've got all the information about the 2025 version of the test that you need to know to pass. Welcome to the Praxis Test Prep channel. I'm Sandra Matthews. I have a doctoral degree in education, and I'm a test prep expert with Study.com. We're proud to partner with ETS, the official provider of the Praxis exams, to bring you the most accurate and up-to-date information straight from the source. By the end of this video, you'll have all the essential details, expert strategies, and the confidence you need to pass this exam and take the next step in your teaching career. Ready? Let's jump in. If you're an aspiring art teacher, there's a chance you'll need to pass the Praxis Art Content Knowledge Exam to get licensed and secure your first full-time teaching job. So what can you expect from the Praxis 5134? This test is designed to make sure you have the core knowledge and skills needed to confidently teach art to young learners. This exam is computer delivered and focuses on 6 major content areas. The first 2 fall under the art making category. First is general, where you can expect around 15 questions that account for 13% of your exam score. The second area is media and processes. This is by far the longest with around 61 questions and accounts for 51% of your exam score. The other 4 sections are part of the historical and theoretical foundations of art category. Materials and processes in an art historical context is the smallest one. It only has around 6 or 7 questions and accounts for 5% of your exam score. The Western tradition in art history has about 17 or 18 questions, and it makes up 15% of your score. Art beyond the Western tradition is next with about 9 questions that count for around 7% of your exam score. Responding to art is the 6th and final area. You'll need to complete about 11 questions here, and it's worth 9% of your score. We'll break each of these down in more detail in this video, but just know these content areas have remained consistent from prior years. The Praxis 5134 gives you 2 hours to complete 120 questions, so time management is critical. To maximize your score, you need a solid approach to pacing and prioritization. Here's how to do that. Stick to about 1 minute per question on average. Use this as a general guide to keep you moving steadily through the exam. If we find an easier question, complete it quickly and bank a little extra time for the more challenging ones. And if you're stuck on a question, don't dwell on it. Mark it for review, skip it, and move on to the next one. This ensures you're answering as many questions as possible within the time limit. When you circle back later, you'll often find the answer comes to you more easily with a fresh perspective. Most of the questions you'll see are standard multiple choice. Just pick the best answer out of 4 options. But not every question follows that format. Some will be multi-select, meaning more than one answer is correct, and you'll need to choose all the right ones to get credit. Others might ask you to click on parts of a graphic, enter a number, or even select a specific sentence in a passage. You could also get drag and drop questions where you organize answers into the right spots, or drop-down questions where you choose from a menu to complete a sentence. The Praxis 5134 is scored on a scale of 100 to 200. Every state has its own score requirements, so always check your state's guidelines on praxis.ets.org. I've linked it here in the page description. The ETS keeps their scoring logic confidential, even from us. However, a good rule of thumb is to take your state's passing score, subtract 100, and then treat the resulting number as a percent. That means if your passing score requirement is 155, you can roughly assume that you need to get at least 55% of the questions correct in order to pass. Here's a key tip. There's no penalty for wrong answers on the Praxis, so never leave a question blank. Always give it your best shot, even if that means guessing when you're short on time. Use smart test strategies like eliminating wrong choices and looking for clues in the question itself. All right, now let's dive a little deeper into the content that you'll see on test day. The Praxis Art exam is divided into 6 categories, and each section counts differently toward your final score, so it's key to know where to focus. First up is general. You'll be tested on art basics like line, shape, color, and design principles like balance and contrast. Expect questions on how these show up in 2D and 3D art, along with techniques from classic methods like perspective to modern ones like appropriation and transformation. The next section is media and processes. This part tests your knowledge of art materials, safety, and techniques. You'll need to know how to handle and store supplies, use different media like paint, clay, and digital tools, and properly display both 2D and 3D artwork. Next up is materials and processes in an art historical context. This section focuses on recognizing art materials and techniques in their historical context. You'll answer questions about how media like painting and sculpture have evolved and identify methods used in artworks based on images. The fourth section is the Western tradition in art history. This section tests your ability to recognize art styles and architecture from major historical periods, from prehistory to contemporary art. You'll identify famous works and artists, understand how innovation shapes styles, and connect art to its cultural and historical context. Art beyond the Western tradition is next. You'll answer questions about art and architecture from Asia, Africa, the Americas, and the South Pacific, how they use design, differ from Western art, and reflect cultural beliefs, rituals, and history. The sixth and final section is responding to art. You'll answer questions on major art theories like formalism and expressionism, how they differ, and how to evaluate art through them. Expect to analyze symbols, design, and how personal and cultural perspectives shape meaning. If you have any questions, make sure to check out our practice problem videos specifically on this exam. So, how do you exactly start preparing for this exam? We recommend a targeted approach, which brings me to my final strategy tip. Take a full-length practice test early in your prep. This is one of the best ways to figure out what you already know and what you need to focus on. Think of it as your personal roadmap for smarter, efficient studying. Here's a bonus tip. If a full-length test feels too daunting, consider checking out Study.com's diagnostic quizzes. Study.com has customized quizzes for each practice test code to analyze your performance and create a personalized study plan. This helps you focus your efforts where they'll have the biggest impact so you can spend less time reviewing what you already know and more time where it counts. No matter how you study, try to simulate real test conditions whenever possible. That means timing yourself and sticking to the same resources you'll have on exam day. I also recommend that you practice with images. The test often uses images to ask you to identify styles, materials, or historical context. So spend time looking at artworks online, in books, or in flashcards and quiz yourself. Try to think, what period does this look like? What materials were likely used? What's the purpose? Also, practice using process of elimination, like an art detective. If you get stuck on a question, say, identifying a style or material, start ruling out what it can't be. Narrowing down the options can lead you to the answer, even when you're unsure. At the end of the day, preparation isn't just about learning the content. It's also about building test day confidence and mastering the strategies that help you succeed when it matters most. And that's a wrap, your ultimate guide to passing the Praxis Art Content Knowledge Exam with confidence. For more detailed practice strategies and walkthroughs, check out our Praxis Art playlist here on YouTube, and then make your way over to Study.com and check out one of our Praxis Test Prep courses. Our users boast a 92% pass rate, and our courses include full-length exams, hundreds of practice questions, and additional video lessons specifically tailored to the latest test updates. With our resources, you'll know exactly what to expect on test day. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like this video and subscribe to this channel for more updates on Praxis exams. And leave your questions and success stories in the comments below. Remember, we're rooting for you every step of the way. You've got this.